everyone. Today is Monday, July the 12th. I'm your host, Moses Rangel, and you're watching The Quicky Show, where we scour the web to bring you a recap of the local news. Here are the top stories for this past week. The San Antonio Police Department's competitive SWAT team is headed to Germany. In 2011, SWAT will compete in the Olympics of SWAT competition. They'll be the first team ever from the U.S. to compete. For the national competition, team members have trained for about 6 weeks. Next year, the team will compete in the 2011 counter-terror competition. They will be challenged by top teams internationally. The international competition is more scenario-based and will be a whole different kind of competition. No media is allowed and the information is scarce. LULAC and a few other associations, including the San Antonio Restaurant Association, joined forces to create the Save Our Jobs Alliance. The coalition opposes strengthening the city's smoking ban. The City Council's Quality of Life Committee will meet to consider banning smoking in several public spaces, including the Zoo, Riverwalk, the Alamo, main plazas, park, and outdoor stadiums. In addition to extending the ban to bars, pool halls, comedy clubs, restaurants, and bingo halls. Mi Tierra restaurateur Ruben Cortez said the proposed ordinance would put San Antonio businesses at a disadvantage. It's all about economics. We're not fighting the science. The alliance frames its position solely around its perception of the proposal's economic impact. Those who support a smoke-free San Antonio frame the debate about health issues and say if there's any economic impact, it'll be a positive one. That brings us to this week's What's It To Ya. Here we ask you to send us your comments on this proposed smoking ban. Due to the financially troubled Texas horse racing industry, the Texas Racing Commission has voted to allow Retama Park to reduce its fall thoroughbred schedule from 30 days to 16 days. Commission members acknowledge that they are overseeing an industry in crisis mode. Commission member Tom Clow of Waco says we are bound to understand these problems and do what we can to allow racing to continue. Officials at the 3 major Texas tracks are planning to consolidate their 2011 scheduled dates for 1 year at Lone Star in an effort to produce a meet that would attract the attention around the country. In other news, the dog whisperer Cesar Millan urged San Antonio pet owners Thursday to spray and neuter their animals in order to reduce the city's number of euthanizations. Millan appeared at the Spray and Neuter Assistance Program on Ingram Road this week. Millan said 89 pets are euthanized every day in San Antonio, about 32,000 each year. That could be reduced with a simple surgery. Once you start preventing pets from being born, you don't have to kill them, says Millan. And HEB has deployed its disaster response unit to Laredo to provide emergency relief due to the severe flooding from the Rio Grande River. San Antonio-based HEB is one of the largest independent grocery chains in the United States. Furnished with 2 water tanks and the HEB Eddie Garcia mobile kitchen, this emergency mobile unit has the capacity to serve approximately 2,200 meals per hour. HEB is standing by and is fully prepared to offer any assistance this area and its residents may need. On Wednesday, the San Antonio Business Journal reported that the Interlex Communications would head up a campaign for the San Antonio Metro Health to help the Alamo City shed its image of being one of America's fattest cities. About 37.9% of people in San Antonio are overweight and 28.4% are obese. One of the goals of the campaign will be to help improve the overall health of the city. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention awarded the city a $15.6 million grant to improve overall health. The city is using grant money from the Center for Disease Control to educate the public about the dangers of obesity, as well as positioning the community to a more active lifestyle and to introduce healthier nutrition choices. Some of the city's strategies include making the city more bike commuter friendly, developing farmers markets in communities with health disparities, and creating agreements with school districts, parks, faith-based organizations, and universities to allow public use of their facility for physical activities. Now, there's going to be some revitalization in the Fort Sam area. The city received a $1.3 million grant from the U.S. Department of Commerce to help revitalize the Walter Street corridor. News of this grant could not have come at a better time. Residents just completed 3 meetings regarding their vision for developing the area there on Walter Street. Councilwoman Ivy Taylor says this funding provides a tremendous opportunity to not only enhance the quality of life for people who live right outside the Fort Sam area by upgrading streets, sidewalks, but it will also serve as an additional incentive to attract the type of retail development that community members and military personnel desire for the area. Work is set to begin late summer or early fall of 2010, but for more information on the project, it's available at sanantonio.gov/OMA. Threats to the Alamo Regional Mobility Authority came by way of letter from the environmental group Aquifer Guardians in urban areas. The construction of the interchange at Loop 1604 and 281 is under scrutiny for environmental concerns, but so far no lawsuits have been filed. The officials are optimistic that the project will proceed on schedule. The president of Agua says a lawsuit to block the project is still being considered. He says the RMA moved forward with the complicated interchange without doing the full environmental impact study. The project calls for building ramps into Loop 1604 from traffic approaching the loop from the south, as well as ramps from east and westbound Loop 1604 onto southbound 281. The massive project, which has been in the works for 2 decades, will be built largely with federal stimulus money. That is why officials are quick to begin construction. The National Council of La Raza's annual conference came to San Antonio this past weekend, with its members eager to improve Hispanics and influence U.S. immigration policy. Janet Morguas, president of the CEO of Washington-based council, said much of the emphasis this year will be on immigration issues. Included in the conference is the National Latino Family Expo, billed as the largest Hispanic consumer show in the country. Free and open to the public, it included interactive programs, entertainment, giveaways, as well as 240 exhibitors providing information and assistance on careers, citizenship, immigration, and other topics. The overall goal of the conference, Marguaz said, is to provide a well-rounded educational experience for anyone who chooses to participate, regardless of their ethnic background. And in sports, Spurs fans can finally exhale. Project Spurs reports that Thiago Splitter and the San Antonio Spurs have reached an agreement. That agreement should be signed today, Monday. Over the weekend, Matt Bonner re-signed with a 4-year commitment. And in Silver Star news, our point guard Becky Hammon injured her right hip flexor against Minnesota. Minnesota's Lindsay Whalen will be her replacement on the WNBA squad. Well, that concludes this edition of the Quickie Show. Remember to send us your emails with any questions, comments, or story submissions to fans@quickieshow.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/quickieshow, or you can follow me on Twitter at @TheMosesRangel, or on Facebook at facebook.com/MosesRangel. Well, that's all the time that we have. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time on The Quickie Show. LULAC and a few other associates concluded the San Antonio, LULAC and a few other associations, including the San Antonio Restaurant Association, joined forces to create Save Our Job Allowance. LULAC and a few other associations, including the San Antonio Restaurant Association, joined forces to create the Save Our Jobs Alliance to spay and neuter their animals in order to reduce the citizens. Due to the financially troubled Texas horse racing industry, the Texas Racing Commission has voted to allow Retama Park to reduce its fall thoroughbred. The president of Agua says a lawsuit to block the project is still being considered. He says the RMA moved forward with leave educated and informed, and we may have to have them leave inspired, provide a well-rounded educational experience for anyone who chooses to participate regarding Splitter has decided to come to the Spurs, and there has been reports that the agreement will happen today. Spurs power forward an agreement to sign our new center, as well as Thiago Splitter and the San Antonio Spurs should reach an agreement. And our Silver Stars Becky Hammon injured herself against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Should sign an agreement to have our new, that would make Splitter a Spur. Becky Hammon was injured against the Minnesota, her right hip flexor against the Minnesota. Thiago Splitter should be signing with the Spurs. What an Becky Hammon, Spurs, and Becky Hammon, our Silver Stars guard, injured her right hip flexor while. And in sports, Spurs fans can finally exhale. Apparently. And in sports, Spurs fans can finally exhale. Spurs. What is it?